First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look to your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone. You know, Grady, you kind of stumbled there. You're kind of losing your touch here.
I had, too much saliva in my mouth.
Wow.
It was one of those things.
30 years on the radio, after a week, he's like slipping here already.
Yeah, because I was trying to talk to you right before we went on, so I wasn't able to collect
Right,
myself.
Shift gears,
It's funny that you noticed that, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the jail district. That's the vote is coming up this Tuesday, and we want to remind everybody to get out and vote.
We do. I mean, and I'll just say this is we ask for your support. We do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. I call them distractors, truly from the real issue. And the real issue is, do we need a jail? And I have not had anybody come up and say, Sheriff, we don't need a new jail. Nobody can argue it. It's truly, the experts say it. We know it, the folks in the jail. And if you're doing anything, do it for the officers in the jail that have to work in there. This is National Detention Officer Week, Correction Officers Week. I mean, I'll be down there today to go see them and do it for them. They got a tough enough job in a facility that's 40 years old, that's not up to modern day standards, an infrastructure that's crumbling. Folks, we got to help them out too. I mean, we truly do. And just because it's government doesn't mean it's wrong. I hear that all the time. Wow, the government can do that. The government can do. We're a business too. We're truly a business that works directly for the people. I respect that. I never forget that. But we need a jail, and we've done the most efficient way to bring it to you. You can compound it, you can twist it, you can throw it, however you want to do it. And these are the people that just don't want it. But let me just throw this at you too. Is a lot of people that are throwing these thoughts out there, putting the signs out there. I mean, what happens when we don't have it? What do we do with those that need to be locked up? I was working with my team last night. Title 42, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I mean, these are all enhancements to have a jail. Take that away and see what happens. And you can look around the country and see what's happened to the criminal justice system when they've taken away resources from law enforcement. I would just leave you with that. For $40 to $67 a year per citizen, I think we're doing pretty good to put the facility in there that enhances your quality of life. And I'll be quiet after that. But I had to get that out this morning because hearing some of the thoughts that, oh, no, this, that, folks, they're distracting. Election integrity. If you don't like the election laws, change them. Counties don't make election laws. States do. And I told a gentleman that one time. Oh, yeah, you guys do. No, we don't. You can believe, and I respect beliefs, but the bottom line is that's a state. Talk to your state elected leaders. Get them laws changed. That's where that starts, not here in Cochise County. The influences come from us, but the rules are set by the state.
All of the town hall meetings that were out there, you described everything in detail, along with Commander Bradshaw. And so some of the things that people keep, throwing back at us is, why don't we get the money from somewhere else? Why don't we sell some of the assets that we have and take that money and put it to a better use in the jail? So you've already gone out and got money where you can, but it's you can't mix the apples and the oranges. The assets that we have or the money that we have for specific community outreach and whatnot are dedicated specifically for that function. You can't just put it all in one pile and just write your check based on what you have in that pile.
No, you can't. And again, money for jails is very rare. Try to find money, grants, or any of those programs that build jails. It's very hard. Now, I can find them for a park every day. I mean, parks and things for schools are out there. We'll talk about $1.5 million we just got for school security here in a minute. But bottom line of this is that's hard to get. We secured $22.2 million. And by the way, if we don't build the jail, that money goes away. So that would not be allocated back to us. So we've done really well. But also, I always say this, we've also secured over $100 million to offset cost over the last 11 years. So we've saved a boatload of money already to do programs that make you feel safe in Cochise County and programs that you've asked us to do, whether it's border related, whether it's education, whether it's schools. We've done that. So we've done everything you've asked us. Now I haven't asked. After 11 years, I'm asking take care of my men and women that work in that jail, and let's take care of our quality of life in this county. So I throw that at you.
Well, let's do some of the drop-off locations, because you shouldn't mail it anymore because it's not going to get there by the 16th. So you can drop off, and those are in Bisbee at the county recorder's office, Benson at the county service center, Douglas County Service Center, Sierra Vista at the Service Center, and Wilcox at the Service Center. Now, that's today and Monday. If you drop it off on Election Day, you can only do that on Election Day in Bisbee, Sierra Vista, and Wilcox. So we make sure that information is online and on our Facebook page, but make sure you know where you're supposed to drop those off. And on Tuesday, Election Day, only in Bisbee, Sierra Vista, and Wilcox.
Yeah, so again, we ask for your support. We truly do. And if it doesn't pass us, we shift gears and we'll probably go into a more drastic approach. We have to, which is going to have a price tag on it. Again, there's not much we can do. But at one point, and I'll just say this, the Board of Supervisors has to make some critical decisions. They really do. I appreciate Ann and Peggy coming out and attending both of the meetings, and they've been verbally supportive on this. I appreciate that. But at one point, they have to make decisions. So if you don't want it, then what are the solutions? What are the solutions? What are the costs of that? And folks, I'll just tell you, we've done some preliminary on that. It's going to be very costly. And so, I always say this, the Board of Supervisors got the fiscal responsibility under a district, not the sheriff. I know there's a sign out there, do we trust our sheriff on this? Well, if that person would call and make seek an inquiry into that, he'd figure out, I don't. Every dime under a district, whether it be a water district, library district, or sheriff district, or jail district in this case, has to be, the Board of Supervisors are the fiscal stewards of that money with annual audits by the state. So there are double checks and balances, and the people. So there's a triple, if you want to look at it that way too. So those are ridiculous signs. I'll just be the first to say that. But those are just agendized signs for the right reasons for them, wrong reasons for us. So just like the ones that are bearing it down on the election stuff like we just talked about, election integrity. I didn't know we were doing, this was an election vote. I thought this was a jail district vote.
And so one of the things that that impact, and you mentioned it briefly, is detention officers. And now we're here in National Detention Officer Week. So we just have to tell everybody who works in the jail under those conditions, thank you so much for doing what you do each and every day.
They're unsung heroes. They're the backbone of the criminal justice system, just like the facility itself is. I mean, that's where they're safeguarded. That's where they're held until the criminal justice system fulfills the adjudication. So, again, thank you to all our men and women that work in our jails, not just here in Cochise County, but throughout the nation, because you don't hear much about them. But they go to work every day. They deal with some very vulnerable people, some very high-risk people, and they deal with those that maybe just made a mistake. So we deal with all aspects of the crime. So, but they do a very good job of sharing respect those that ask for it, and then holding those accountable that don't. So thank you so much for the men and women. If you're listening to them coming home from work today from the jail or going to work, thank you. We appreciate you.
And you also put a video out on the sheriff's Facebook page talking about the detention officers, inviting everybody to go see that as well.
Yes, and I would encourage him to go to our Cochise County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. And I just got a shout out to you, Carol and Grady, both. We hit 40,000 followers.
Nice.
That's impressive. For a rural county, you got to figure, what is that, about 40% of the population is following that page. Thank you so much. I know you got a commercial out there, Carol, on that, but you guys take a lot of credit for that. And we want to be that person, that organization that shares those public safety interest stories to you, and we'll continue doing that. You have our commitment. And
at the top of the headlines right now is Title 42. Let's dig into that.
Title 42, the most infamous title out there right now, and I'll just say this. You can go back to our Facebook page on that, too. I actually put our border operational brief on out there. I put a Title 42 statement out there. If you're interested in a hard copy of that, please reach out to my office in Bisbee, and I will get that mailed to you. I'm going to mail out one today for a citizen that called and was very appreciative of that. But we want to be transparent that way. But Title 42 is going away. It is gone. Let me just rephrase that. It is gone. And what's upsetting, and I'll be the first to say it, is the transparency from Washington, D.C. is not there, folks. I'll just say we have no operational plan sitting in front of us. We have nothing. We have nothing that says this is what we're going to do. What we do know is, besides what we're already dealing with, now it's magnified, DHS made the wise decision, and I say that cynically, wise decision to bus people here, process them, and then release them into our community. The state of Arizona, under DEMA, is bringing buses down to bring them out of our community to NGOs, which are at near capacity. This is a breaking system if it's not already broke. So the feds bring them, state takes them out. It just seems repetitive. Last night I stopped a tall bus broken down along the road. So I pulled in behind it. It was an immigration bus. Pulled in behind it, and they had just brought down 51 migrants that were tribal in nature, brought them down to get processed here and then released here. I said, "You going to come back and get them?" I knew the answer, and they were very nice guys. They said, "Sheriff, no. I mean, we bring them, and then we're done." So we're responsible, the state. The state taxpayers are responsible for getting it back out here. And how inhumane. 200 a day in Naco and 200 a day at the Walmart in Douglas. And that's where those buses are going. So you see a lot of buses. That's what's going on. We got to keep those buses rolling. I'm working on that to make sure that happens. And even a follow-up conversation with the governor we're going to talk about in a minute. But it's just a fractured system and how we're allowing this to happen. And I found out yesterday, and people say, "What are you doing, Sheriff?" This is a story where they were releasing the migrants without court dates, which means here's your paper, go in the country, kind of wandering. I mean, and they have no court date. How's there a tracking system or judicial system attached to that? There is not. The agents were hot. I'll just say that, and rightfully so. I sent it to the sheriffs. We hit it pretty hard yesterday with our electeds. In fact, you can't imagine the calls I was dealing with yesterday on this, and we had a reversal on that. They can't do that no more. So, again, you got to have judicial oversight on this or anything we do in the country when it comes to those that break our laws or there's a law attached to it. And when you see that kind of stuff, and I asked them, why are they doing this? And this is what I was told. They want to bring the numbers down for optic reasons, so it doesn't look like there's a problem on the border. Folks, that is horrible. That is horrible. So, again, am I not happy with the federal government? I'm not. And I'm not talking about Border Patrol. Let me just give a huge shout out to them, all CBP. They're doing an amazing job in some of the toughest times they've ever seen. And when you talk to these agents, I mean, again, I thank them. I can't thank them enough. At Top Cop yesterday, our Top Cop Award, we'll talk about that in a minute, I had the Border Patrol people stand up, and we applauded them on behalf of their law enforcement colleagues, just to know that we care about them. And I know this community does too. So you see a Border Patrol agent, there's nobody to thank now but them right now. They're going through some tough times. But my commitment to you under Title 42 is we'll continue to do what we're doing, our educational programs, our enforcement programs. We'll continue to do that. I think we're doing better than most because we were already into this pretty deep with all these programs. And we'll make sure that those that are being released here have a way out of here because they're illegally here once they get the paperwork. We got to accept that. People are asking me, well, Sheriff, just take them back. It doesn't work that way. I'm not immigration police, but I can help when it comes to the quality of life here, and that's what I'm going to do. But we got to get these people where they can go, where they can get the resources they need.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the governor's visit since you brought that up.
So we had the opportunity to meet with the governor. We did a community roundtable and a law enforcement roundtable, and I'm going to speak on the law enforcement side. Both meetings went very well, but I asked the governor for several things. Number one, keep the National Guard here. They're supposed to leave on June 30th, I think it is. I asked her to keep the National Guard here with everything going on. I asked for more troopers to start helping us on the highways with all the smuggling going on. I mean, my deputies are running their tails off. I'll just say that. And last but not least is we need to get more support for law enforcement. And I asked the government if she could throw that out there. We need to hear more from our governor's office, which I asked the federal government the same thing when I met with the FBI director here back in February. We need to get some support behind law enforcement. Right now, this is a tough job. It's very complex right now. People are at edge. It's a divided country we're working and living in. We got to get a job of our elected leaders supporting public safety throughout states, state, local, and federal. And she was non-resistant to all that. She was compliant to that and had a good visit with the governor. And I know Carol, you and Grady both were there. I mean, your thoughts?
I think that I'm glad that she came down. Initially it was planned for the previous time. It was previous day, and it got postponed because she went into Tucson. So I think that there was, a little bit of consternation over that. But seeing that she did come down, I think that every single person in there, even though they were only short in duration, I think it was long in information. And I was really glad to see that she was able to come here, very personable. She seemed open, and I'm really looking forward to her next visit because we are trying to get that scheduled in the next couple months.
Yeah, she was listening. She's in a learning curve. I don't think anybody will argue that. But people have asked me, well, why do you even meet with her, Sheriff? She's our governor. Whether you voted for her or not, or I voted for her or not, it's irrelevant. The fact is, she's our governor. She's our sitting governor. And we need our state involved in this. We lose our state when it comes to this Title 42, or it comes to things we do in this, and even beyond public safety, education, all that. We need the state to be a partner in this, because right now the federal government chose not to be. So we got to have them on board with us. And I was very satisfied with the answers I got. I was very satisfied with she wants to support sheriffs. She told sheriffs the day before that. It was another meeting, a virtual meeting with her on Tuesday. And she don't want to overreach. She wants the county governments to be county governments and sheriffs to be sheriffs. But what do you need? What can she do to help these organizations? So she's not going to tell us what to do. Those requests for National Guard, for the buses, support public safety, and more troopers was all well received. So I think we're going to be successful there.
And also, every agency in our county, all the police departments, all the federals, everybody has a Cop of the Year. And then all of those came together this week to give the Cochise County Top Cop Award.
Another great event, and thank you to both of you. And Carol, I know you've been leading this charge for 6 years?
Yes.
6 years. Thank you. You do an amazing job, and you read and this year you got smart. And
yes.
You actually audio taped them before and then put them on the screen, and it was so professional the way it looked. I mean, just every year gets a little bit better, and every year we learn something. But we recognize some of our support folks. J.D. Rottweiler was our big supporter of the year that we recognized on Law Enforcement Academy, Dispatch Academy. He does so much for it. He's always there for us. So thank you, J.D., for being recognized on that. But then our top cop, and these from 11 different agencies, was Officer Chavez from the Service to Police Department. So congratulations to him. And again, these are blind. I don't know who it is, and kind of ironic. For those who don't know, Chief Adam Thrasher, Service to Police Chief, is retiring. He's made his announcement on that. We recognized him too. Assistant Chief John Cosmeyer, Service PD, is retiring. We recognized him. John Scanlon from Border Patrol. He's the PAC Patrol Agent in charge in Douglas. He's retiring. We're losing a lot of institutional knowledge, folks, in this community. It scares me a little bit. But we recognized all of them. But I asked Adam to present the top cop, unbeknownst that his officer was one who received it. So it was just a nice Lego connection there. So we put that together, and it was really nice. Carol, Grady, thank you so much. And thanks to all the nominees and all the great work law enforcement does, state, local, and federal.
And it seems like everybody had a really good time. And it's like a 2-hour event, and it gets people in the same room, and you get to put faces to names. And Officer Chavez, kind of a side note, he actually interned with us when he was just out of Bisbee High School. So we were pretty excited to see that he won that.
Well, that's a success right there. That makes all the sense now. I didn't realize that. So there we go. That's the answer. I'll have to remind Chief Thrasher of that.
He started with us.
Yeah, he started with us. I mean, he got his good foundation. That's why he's grown. So, but congratulations to him.
J.D. Rottweiler brought up a neat fact that a lot of the people that were top cops were also graduates from our academy.
I think 5.
5 out of 11.
Yeah. What do you say? 70-some law enforcement. 73, I think it was. Don't quote me on the number, but 70-some law enforcement have graduated since we started the academy here in Cochise College, and the Sheriff's Office and Service to PD. So that's impressive. I mean, we're hiring homegrowns, and they're staying home. That's what we want.
And they're still in an academy right now. So we're looking forward to that graduation coming up. We'll talk about it a later time. But just so everybody knows, it's a consistent academy that runs, twice a year.
Yeah, and they graduate 25th at Cochise College in Douglas at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you want to go see a law enforcement academy graduation, they're pretty neat. That'll be on the 25th this month.
And Cochise College is having their graduation tonight.
Yes, 1,300 students are graduating. Wow. 1,300, I think 300 or 400 will walk. I'm not positive of the numbers, but I know it's like 1,300 are graduating. Shows you the impact Cochise College has in this community. So I'll be down there. My wife, who works at the college, and we'll be down there too. And so starting at 5 o'clock tonight. So it's exciting to go to them and see these young people starting their careers, and I try to make that every year. So it's exciting. Congratulations to all the graduates there.
And we also, for speaking of schools, have a $1.5 million grant for school security.
We do. I'm very excited. I've been working with School Superintendent Jackie Clay. Miss Energy there. She makes me look like I'm standing still. But her and I have worked on this grant. This is a school security grant for all the schools in Cochise County, to include Fort Huachuca if they choose to participate, and I think they are. And I asked the school superintendents to tell me what they need. The grant was designated to the sheriff's office, but I'm not the expert at education. Their leaders are, so I yielded to them. So we got a program that they've chose that works along with the ALICE training, which is the active shooter training, the active event training, if you want to call it such. So any critical event at a school, it provides technology, school layouts, information, personnel information, you name it. As the officer pulls up, he'll know exactly. It's like a built-in command center for law enforcement, so you have that information right in front of you. So if you have an individual, say a student that's committing harm in a school, he's in the gym, it'll pinpoint exactly where that student is if they know. So that's really nice for us because we isolate that part of the school with the layout of the map. We know how to set up. We know we can set our perimeter tighter than we normally would with a general approach. So that's just a tip of what this program does, but we're hoping that I think it goes in front of the school, our board on the May 23rd, Jackie Clay, and I'm going to be out of town, so I'll be on another event, so one of my staff will be there. But the bottom line is we're excited. So when these kiddos go back to school in the fall, another layer of protection by us with our kids to keep them safe. So again, we're on the front and cutting edge of doing that, so I'm excited.
And so one of the things that you just skipped over, and I'm sure it just was not intentional, the University of Arizona graduation, right?
So did they graduate? Did they graduate?
Yeah, You were there, so I know you were going to get to it at this point. So congratulations to all of the University of Arizona graduates.
Yes, congratulations. They had like 400 graduates from U of A South, and it's the College of Technology and Science, Applied Technology and Science, CAST, they call it. And just a very, very nice graduation. And I mean, and they run their cyber degrees. They have other ones too. I don't want to but just very nice. 400 nice speakers. I mean, just they did that at Buena High School Theater. By the way, being an ASU fan, I waited till the lights dimmed and I snuck into the side. But just kidding.
Yeah,
just kidding. But Mayor McCall and I sat together on that one, and Melanie from the chamber was there, Jennifer from the paper. So a lot of the community folks came out to support that too. So it just congratulations to all those Wildcats, and we wish them well.
We're going to make sure we get that clip, right, Grady? You're going to save that one?
I got it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you got to save that one. You know, if you would have sat next to me, you could have heard me talk about ASU the whole night. But I mean, you were. I won't bore you in this interview.
And it's also Nurses Week. How much can we thank them for what they do?
Oh, incredible! I was in the hospital last week, and I can give the story here. In fact, I'll wait to the end. Remind me to talk about the health side of our job, but. Long story short is I was in there and watching these nurses run around the ER room at Canyon Vista, and my wife's a nurse, Nikki, and I mean, that's a certain character it takes to be a nurse. They're so passionate, they're caring. I mean, and most people when they go to the emergency room or they're there because something's wrong, just like our job. And they do an amazing job of taking care of them. So to all the medical professionals out there, from medical assistants to paramedics, EMS, and to our nurses, all of them, thank you for taking care of those in need.
So what is the health side of our job you want to talk about?
Well, last Sunday, this is something I wanted to really hit on, is last Sunday I came out and was working with the guys, and I was on for about 15 minutes, and we had a case where a lady was in mental distress. And was going to harm herself. So I went out there. She called and said, she wanted us to find her. And so one of the sergeants, myself, and a deputy, we arrived. She was at a church. She went to a church. And we got there. She was saying goodbye to her son. And she was had a weapon on her and was pointing at her. And so we took about 15 minutes to de-escalate that situation and get her safely secured and get her to the hospital. My point, and that was the third one that morning, that day. We had a 17-year-old, and then we had another individual that got into a domestic. Folks, I'll just say this to you. life is tough. There's no doubt about it. But those decisions are irreversible. Call us. Call the suicide hotline. I mean, call us. We will navigate that with you. We're not here to arrest you. We're here to navigate that and help you. So that's part of what we do. But please, there's always a better answer. I promise you, there's a better answer, and let us work with you on that.
And that's a tough situation, and that's what we talk about, mental health and all of the aspects that come with it. Again, full circling that to a jail district, because that's going to be one of the things that happen if that passes, and we're going to be able to help provide additional services for that.
And that's very important. I mean, you look at 60-70% of all correctional detention facilities are dealing with mental health. If you saw our medical facility, it's, what was it, an old closet or something like
Yes.
that that's been extended into like a storage room. That's our medical mental health facility there. And believe it or not, it's very limited at best. They do an amazing job too. I'm not going to take anything from the staff, but the facility doesn't accommodate modern day needs.
And so moving forward, we have Buena has their law enforcement graduation. So I don't know how many people know that the schools that we have in Cochise County have that law enforcement education component inside. So Buena's having their graduation coming up Monday.
Yeah, Monday morning, Sergeant Ray McNeely and myself are going to be at Buena to present the certificates to all the graduating CTE, which is Career Technical Education for Criminal Justice. They put the program through. They've graduated now, so we present those, and then we just gave all the other high schools to do it. I just signed all their certificates too this week. So congratulations to all our CTE criminal justice graduates, because to us, that's building the homegrown again. That's our ability, our opportunity to get these people interested in law enforcement, let them graduate from high school, hopefully get them into Cochise College, or hire them, and or both, because we have education reimbursement to get them into law enforcement, whether it's working for Service to PD, Wilcox PD, Sheriff's Office. We want them to stay here and work for our communities here.
And you can start in the jail at 18 years old.
Yeah, 100%. And folks, if you're looking for a job, let me highlight that. We're hiring big time in our jail. We're hiring big time. So if you're looking for a job, you're a young person going to work and say, that might be an opportunity, give us a call. Go online and you can see the application, fill it out, and we'll be in touch very soon.
And it's $40,000 a year, so that's a great starting pay for 18 years old.
Yes, very much so. And we're looking hopefully to bump that up, because the market shows we need to bump that up a little bit, and I'm hoping to do that here in July 1 too. So yeah, come on over, and plus benefits, education reimbursement, and you got a retirement, and you're in the government system. You can't go wrong with that.
You definitely can. It's a career path. It's not just a job.
Yes.
You had a ride-along with a Sierra Vista City Council member.
Yeah, I want to thank Mark Rodriguez, Sierra Vista City Councilman, rode with me yesterday afternoon into the evening, and appreciate it. It's nice when you see a councilman or any elected official that actually comes out and rides. And I understand he's been doing a lot of ride with law enforcement, and it's good to see that, because they better understand the individual wearing the badge, but also the work and the people we face. But I think they see something, and that we truly care about what we do. And talking to the deputies last night, I know he's been riding with Service to PD, and I mean, when you get those relationships going, you have a better understanding when you say, no, I'm not going to support your budget, or I'm not going to support you. That's a cheap statement, unless you've been in the seat next to a law enforcement officer. So I encourage all our elected officials, come ride with us. I commend Councilman Rodriguez for doing that. I know Clea McCall, the mayor, I mean, he's keeping up with me on the energy. I'm starting to get worried here. But he's out there too, right? He's ridden with me. I know he's ridden with Service to PD officers. I mean, that's great stuff, because that shows the importance and that they care about what we do. That's why I say, when I say support public safety, if you're not doing that, ask, why have you, as an elected official, I don't care if you're state, local, or federal, have not ridden with law enforcement in the community? Because at the end of the day, it's all about community.
It is, and so you have to give back to the community, and you have to continue the education for the sheriff's office, that like all of our office does. And you're going to be speaking to, as another outreach mechanism, to the Hispanic Chamber next Friday.
And next Friday, I'll be speaking to Dan's group, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce group, and I'm looking forward to that. I have never spoken to them. They've asked me. I was supposed to speak a couple months ago, had a conflict in schedule, but next Friday I get the opportunity to do that. And it's nice when you get to go share our successes, share our realities. And sometimes people don't like what you hear, but I wish I could change the dialogue. It is what it is. I mean, the border is what it is. I mean, I can get in there and give you a fluff talk, but I don't think that serves a community well. Let's talk real, and let's walk together in solving these problems.
And part of your outreach along those same lines is the number of media calls you're having. So whatever message you give to the groups that you talk to, you give that same message to the media to spread out globally. So yesterday, well, probably for the past couple of weeks, but yesterday was definitely a home run with having people call and wanting you to call them back. You had to do I don't know how many Zoom calls, interviews, I mean. So even during the award ceremony, you had to bump out and do a couple of those. So the media is interested in getting the story. I think it's important that, like you have expressed, not getting a rebuttal to what everybody else says, but actually getting the original message out.
I'm not here to talk about what's going on in other counties or other areas of the country. My thoughts and my messages reflect right here to Cochise County. That's what I share. And you're right, Carol. I don't change my messaging. If I change my messaging to fit an audience, then what is the real message? So nothing changes on that. And when politicians do that, there's a concern. And number two is I don't do my messaging for being reelected. I don't do this show for saying I want to be reelected. No, that's not the case. I do it because I think it's important that we're transparent with the public and share our stories, share our facts, and share our reality. And some people still will counter that. I mean, look at the jail district. Look at how that's been buried. So, again, we'll continue to do that as long as I'm the sheriff sitting here and the people still have that trust and faith and place me in office. I will always tell them what I need to tell them and be truthful with them.
Well, your safety message of the week, it's graduation season.
It's graduation, folks, and a lot of excitement, a lot of travel, a lot of family in town, and we're seeing that already with the graduations we spoke about previously. So be careful out there. Let's embrace this time. And I know we've had, the pursuits are still there. I wish I could tell you they're not. Last night they spiked another vehicle. The night before they had spiked a vehicle, and it flipped over, and it actually grappled it. The troopers grappled that with my guys. So just be careful out there. We don't want to see these tragedies. This is a time of celebration, not a time of grieving. So if you see lights, please, this goes back to my border message to you, please pull over, yield to those lights and sirens. Let us get through and get our business done. So many people do not yield. And it's frustrating when we're going to a call where we had a lady call last week, and I responded to it, where she called and said, help, and then we lost her. No, that's a lot of things going on right there. We need to get there, and it was a call. We need to be there. And I was heading down the highway with lights and sirens, and people just don't get out of the way. Don't think this wrong, but shame on you. You got to pay attention. You got to get out of our way, because think about that. It was your family. We need to get there. Every second counts. So please be vigilant on that, folks.
And also, if lights are coming from behind you, you might want to get out of the way before they get to you, because you don't know what they're chasing. That's
right, and that's part of that, the failure to yields. But I also got to say this, too. Pull to the right. We anticipate you're going to pull to the right. Don't do anything else. We're going to come to your left. Pull to the right and stop. So we know your intent then. But when you start yielding to the left, and what are you doing, and then you pull back, I mean, we're trying to get there, but the law does require you to pull to the right and stop. Not yield to the left, not slow roll, pull to the right and stop.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us.
Thank you, everybody. Have a safe week.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And we have Melanie Simpson, who's the Vice Chair of Cochise Serving Veterans here in Sierra Vista. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what Cochise Serving Veterans is.
So Cochise Serving Veterans is a local nonprofit. We've been around since 2013. We started off very small. In 2017, we got our nonprofit status. What we do is we help veterans here in our local community by helping them out with either house cleanings, yard cleanings. If they need some financial help, we network with AZ at Works to help them get jobs or interviews or help with resumes. We do stuff like that.
Okay, so those are some of the programs that you do. So are there official names of the programs so that if people want help that they can contact you? Or what programs do you provide specifically?
So they're not really programs, they're services that we provide.
Okay.
And if they need the help, honestly, they can email us or call us. At our web address is cochesevets.org. or they can call us at 520-732-9113, which is also on the Better Bucks packages, is our contact information there. Or they can find us on Facebook. When they reach out to us, what they'll do is they'll tell us what they need. We'll either meet up with them at our building, or we can meet up with them at their house, and they'll fill out an intake form. They'll go through with what they need, and then from there we'll provide the services. So if it's like house cleanings, we go out there and we do that ourselves, and yard cleanings and stuff like that.
And you guys do have a new building, right?
We do. So it's located over there in the Landmark Plaza in Suite 14. And we're taking it a little bit slow with opening of the building. So we're currently open Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 1 to 4, and Tuesday nights from 4:30 to 7.
And you guys are sharing that building with something pretty cool as well.
We are one of the best programs that I know, and that is the Better Bucks and Better Works program.
And
here in town.
And they help out a lot as well.
They do amazing. I can't think of a better program to partner up with and to collaborate with. Especially, we get a lot of calls from them when they go out to the homeless camps and they find veterans out there. They have called us. We'll go out there. We bring our homeless bags out there with us, our intake forms, so we can try to get them into HUD-VASH or into Section 8. We bring all that information with us, and the information to try to get them jobs, food, commodities, stuff like that, right there on the spot.
So how can the community help you?
Right now we're looking for donations for sleeping bags and travel-size shampoos, conditioners, stuff like that, soaps. That would all be amazing. And they can drop it off at the building, or they can call me at 520-732-9113, and I'll come pick it up from them. But that would be great.
And so what you do with all of that is you make like go bags for people.
We make go bags. So we set up we set up homeless bags, and in that bag is hygiene needs, protein bars. We'll give them a sleeping bag if they need it. But also in there is a folder of all the commodities here in town where they can go for assistance for housing, mental health, and employment is all in that folder inside that bag for them.
Okay. And so you're located in Landmark Plaza. If you can give us your contact information again. Absolutely.
Melanie Simpson. The phone number is 520-732-9113. Our web address is cochesvets.org, and we also have a Facebook page. We can be reached at all three.
Well, Melanie, we thank you for coming and talking to us today and telling us all about your programs.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out and touch us at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. That's going to be our webpage, or our social media sites can be found under Facebook at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That'll take you to our Twitter and our Instagram, even our LinkedIn and other fun stuff. So go ahead, give us a call if you need to, 520-432-9500.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3